Okay, what's up? What's up, y'all? Have a very highly anticipated guest with me. Very accomplished in many fields, 20 plus, 25 plus years in the hair industry, entrepreneur, created a hair care line, has done many speaking engagements, a teacher, social media personality, gone viral several times, and she just so happened to be my mom as well. Uh, y'all probably y'all can call her Keena. You know, you might have seen by this point, you might have seen Toodah Secret around. You know, so just feel free to introduce yourself further.
Okay, well, you said a lot. Um, those things. Didn't even realize it till you laid it all out like that. But I think I'm most proud of being y'all's mama. That's like my biggest accomplishment, y'all's mama. So
Well, I mean, much appreciated. Speaking of that, I wanted to ask you, how does it feel for you as a parent? Because all my listeners know I have a bunch of kids. I got 4 kids,
right,
but all mine are, they babies.
right, right.
So how does it feel for you to see your child raising kids?
It's crazy. It's bittersweet, I will say, because it's you're not my baby anymore. So that that by the time y'all go to college or whatever, but it makes it even more apparent when you are parenting somebody else. What I love about it is because you love your kids so much, you can now understand how I felt to love you. Like I can't explain, like right now, you couldn't explain to your kids how much you as a father love them. You can
Yeah.
tell them, but they don't know what that feels like. They know how they feel loving you as a dad. They know
Mm-hmm.
but until you become a parent, you can't understand how it feels to really love a child. So now I love that how hard I love you. You know, like you can
Yeah.
feel it because it's how you feel about your kids.
Yeah. It's a whole different thing. I mean,
It is.
you know,
It hurts your
like you
stomach
said,
sometimes. It hurts your head sometimes.
yeah.
when they get, I used to tell you when you were little, if you would get hurt, I would be like, oh, I feel that up my back, you know, and you would be like, how do you feel it? But now you got kids. If they get hurt, it hurts your body physically. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. And, mine rough, so I
right,
get that more often than I would like.
right, right, right,
um, and it's funny that you mentioned that as far as like it's a different kind of love. Like
right,
it's nothing that you can ever explain,
right,
and you've tried to explain it to me as a youngin,
right.
but it's just different when you
Yeah,
in it.
it
It's,
is.
it's way different.
It is.
Um, so a lot of my listeners, they know pretty much how it went with me as far as my dad's situation, things like
Right,
that.
right,
Um, and y'all were, as far as I remember, never really together.
right.
And up to this point, just what has made you just kind of make the decision to just rock out on your own, like just be single,
Um,
like choice really.
well, I've been through some long-term relationships that were amazing and some that were horrific. Um, you know, I I chose my peace. You know, living by myself, being single right now, it's it's amazing. Like and it's not for everybody, but it's for me because I've gone through enough turmoil. I've gone through enough, even in the relationships that were healthy. All of my relationships ended with me seeming like I'm fighting for my life. Like it was always hard to leave. So my fear now is if it was so hard to leave and people want to kill me for leaving, I don't want to put myself in that situation at almost 50 with a young daughter in the house. You know, y'all were boys and y'all didn't see craziness, even though it was happening around you. But my daughter is in my face 24/7. She pay if I grunt, she's like, "What happened? What's wrong?" You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of choose single life. Well, single life kind of chose me because of her. But as I moved into it, I love it. Like, I'm so peaceful here. I don't have to worry about some of the things that I worried about before. Like I said, marriage is for a lot of people. It's just not for me. And you know, the men that I'm turning down, I've even had men to say to me, "You ain't no spring chicken no more. You can't be that choosy." And it's like, this is why I am.
Yeah.
This is why I am. And, you know, it's like, you're telling me that because I'm telling you no. You're telling me that because I won't go out with you. You know, and it's like, this is why this is part of the reason why. Because I don't want to. I'm not going to fight you for why I choose my peace. I'm not going to fight you for that. And I don't have to say yes to a man that wants to date me just because I'm older. I don't have to say yes. Just recently, a girl got hit in the head with a brick because she wouldn't give a guy her number. And, you know, it's real out here. Men don't like rejection. So, you know, if I have to go through that just on wanting to date, you know, you can just imagine what it's like actually in the relationship for me. I have been in abusive relationships. I've been in abusive situations that weren't even a relationship.
Mm.
You know, and I've been in a relationship where I was loved completely and didn't know how to accept that. So this is the most comfortable place I've ever been in, single.
Yeah.
And I like it here
Yeah.
a lot.
Hey, I mean, it's always you know the right choice to choose your peace. You know,
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that for sure.
yeah,
Um, and you mentioned in there about your daughter, my sister, Toodah.
right,
How was that as far as you know? Because I'm 28, and you
right.
know she's 6 now, and
Almost. Yeah, she'll be 6 soon.
oh yeah, she'll be 6
Right.
this month. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
how was that? I mean, that's a whole like reset. Like how did you like?
Um, it's an emotional roller coaster. You know, um, one minute I'm like, this is the best thing that ever happened to me, and sometimes I'm like, what was I thinking? You know, but all the time she's a blessing. Um, I think she got me back up out of a dark place. You know, I think she came at a time. Her story is so most people know the story of her, but the story is just so miraculous that you can't see anything but a miracle and blessing in her. Because, you know, I lost my sister, your aunt. I lost my sister September 2nd in 2015, and she was telling me in the hospital, I'm gonna fix September for you. We not gonna You're not gonna be mourning all September, because I also lost my best friend September 11th, 2011. And while my sister was in the hospital, you know, transitioning, she was telling me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's September. She was apologizing to me that she was passing away in September because of me already losing my best friend in September. And I was telling her, you know how she was like, no, I'm going to make September better. September is not going to be like this. And then, you know, I'm hearing her, but at the same time, she's passing away, and I'm just thinking some of the stuff she's saying is just, you know, she's kind of out of it or whatever. And then next thing I know, she got diagnosed in January or February of that year. I found out I was pregnant 2 years later on that same date she was diagnosed.
Mm.
I then found out I was due on her birthday. So I was just, me and my mom were like, me and grandma, we were
Yeah.
like really shook sitting in the doctor's office, like, okay, you know, this
Mhm.
is something, you know, and it didn't hit me that I was having a baby. These dates were just hitting me, but it wasn't
Yeah.
hitting me that I'm really having another little human, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, she was born the day before San's birthday. So of course I named her after Sandra, but it was just now the month of September is a little different than it was at one point. It was a month of mourning for me. And now it really is. I'm preparing for her party. I'm preparing for, grandma's birthday, Peanut's birthday. So it's like you're not just thinking about this is when I lost my sister.
Yeah. Brought a
But
different kind of joy.
it is a little something at 48, getting a child ready for kindergarten. That feels awkward. But
Yeah,
like I said, it gets
years
me
ago.
up. Yeah, it gets me back on a routine that I was not on,
Yeah.
Because before I found out I was pregnant with her, I was kind of sinking. I was in my room a lot, and I was, doing things that I couldn't imagine doing now. I would never on no crack or nothing, but I was just doing things that I really could not see myself just sitting and sulking now. I wasn't physically sulking to the outside eye, but I was internally mourning and sulking and probably dying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To the outside eye, I was dancing around on camera, losing weight at my smallest. That was not healthy weight loss. That was sinking away weight loss. I lost a lot of weight. And when I found out I was pregnant, I think I woke up again. I don't think I was woke all of 2016. Because only thing I remember about 2016 is looking at the pictures. When I look at those pictures of the whole year 2016, I don't recognize anything that was going on.
Yeah, that year was like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that same year I had I had a lot going on. I was in school.
Yeah, you had
What I'm
division
saying?
problems going on and everything.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
had kaleidoscope vision. It was that year was crazy.
Yeah, it was. It was really
remember
crazy.
it. I remember
DJ
it being
had a lot going on that year. It was a rough year.
Yeah. It was a year where we had to try to adjust to a whole new kind of life, really.
Yeah, because a lot of our life was spent around Sandra. We did Christmas Eve over there. We did, she came over every single day. This is really a case where you could say I saw my sister every day of my life. When she went on vacations with her husband, and I was there. I would go. I was the third wheel and didn't mind it. So, I really and we never had major arguments and beef where I would, we didn't have times where it's like, I don't do my sister, that type of thing. Some people have issues with their sisters. We didn't have that. We were really, we was that team.
Yeah, for real. It's funny, because I remember y'all arguments that y'all would have,
Right.
and what I'm saying, me and Peanut would be like looking like what's going on, and
Right.
then if it wasn't that night, it was the next morning, and y'all
back like
whoever
happened.
Yeah,
and be mad when we and was mad when we argued. Where y'all were thinking, oh no, we got to get our mamas back together. And by the time y'all went to bed, we done worked it out.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't live without each other. We couldn't live without it. We could not live our days without talking. We had so much to tell each other every day that if we were in an argument and by the next morning, just 24 hours, we had so much stuff to tell each other, that while we wasn't talking for 2 hours,
like I said, that was a major change, like, our whole like kind of circle in our life and everything.
Right.
But outside of that, it seems like you kind of embrace change.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to, like, I just named all of that stuff that you do.
Yeah.
That wasn't all at the same time. You kind of, you get in something, you like master it, and you kind of, if you feel in your heart to do something else, that's kind of what you do.
Yeah.
How do you handle like just embracing change like that?
Well, I embrace
is it
change.
scary at all, or like
it's not really scary to me anymore. It's more necessary because I don't trust that anything is going to stay the same. So I don't trust to get into a stuck place with anything, because I feel like at some point it's going to end and I need to be ready for the next thing. rather than I see a lot of people, they'll lose a job and then they done. It's like, I lost my job, I'm down and out, I'm this and that, or they break up with somebody and they're done. So for me, I guess it could be a good thing and a bad thing, but I'm never looking at anything as permanent, except my children, and so I'm always in hustle mode for the next thing. Like if I start a job, I'm still thinking, if this doesn't work out, what will I do? Because I never want to be homeless. I never want to be broke. I never want to be just down and out without. So I have to make the next plan. They say, well, no, you got to make a plan A, because if you make a plan B, that means you didn't believe in plan A. No, no, it don't. That's buffoonery. It means that you're well prepared, is what it means. Because look what happened with COVID. COVID hit. That didn't have nothing to do with none of our plans. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It didn't mean that we didn't prepare for plan A. It means that some things beyond our control will happen. Mm-hmm. And all you can do, and when it shut down, I had my hair business going. So I was able to continue making money. So when everything shut down, and we couldn't go to work, I was in the house making product, because I had already started grinding my gears about that way before COVID had even been thought of. I was already thinking, I can make this product. I can do this. I was researching and I was taking classes on cosmetic chemistry already in 2018. So by the time 2020 came and I had a spray and a butter and the hair stores closed, I was like, well, and I wasn't working. Here's my opportunity. So I put it out there on Facebook and I sold and I sold and I sold and I sold, so, and then when the stores opened up, it slowed down, because now you can just go get some shampoo. You can just go get some grease. And a lot of people have, good products. It's good products out there. I'm not saying that, there's no good products out there. So, I started thinking then I got to do something different, so I'm always in that mode of I have to be prepared for the next thing. So,
yeah. And, that what you're saying right there, as far as like, just always kind of preparing and just being ready in case things like that happen that's outside of your control.
Right.
I was actually talking about that on my last podcast. Mm-hmm. And it's just crazy you say that, because, I address you as like sensei.
Right.
Like,
right.
I think everybody knows that when it comes to like making decisions, and like I'm all in on a lot of things. Like when I make a decision, I'm like, this is what it is. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
If I fall, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna do it again. Whatever. Like, but in some of that, mm-hmm. I will reach out like, all right, so this is what I'm doing.
Right.
And even if I'm not asking you for advice, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Just telling you, what do you think?
Yeah.
and I do that often. Like,
right.
But what makes you even want to kind of share knowledge? Because you could just, do what you do, but because it's not just me, you know what I'm saying? I've seen
it's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen you give advice. People come to you and you just, you know what I'm saying? You what you
That's
think
funny
about it.
Because I was just having this conversation with a lady literally yesterday, and she was saying, you are such great help. She was like, and she asked the same question, why do you do this? Well, for one thing, I care about people. You know what I'm saying? I genuinely care about people. I want to help people make it in whatever they want to make it. And I have what I call a very strong intuition about things and about people. So I can kind of tell a good person when I first meet them, when I talk to them, I can kind of tell a good person. And I know if they're worth me giving them this conversation. Now, there's some people I've tried to help, and, they are just there to take from me. They just want to suck my energy to feel better. And they don't care that they leave me feeling worse. So people like that, I will remove myself from, but I'll still, and in that event, I'll still offer them some type of help away from me. But
Yeah.
I would take it back to um my love for kids. I think that's where it all starts. So people with kids, I tend to help more than people without. Um,
Mm.
because I love the kids, and I want every child to have a happy life, a happy home life. You know, I was just telling you the other day I saw a little boy um get spoken to in a manner that I didn't like, you know, and the person who spoke to him, you know, she had an opportunity to be nice to him, and she didn't take that opportunity. And the little boy, you know, his head dropped and he felt sad. And so when he just so happened to turn around and look at me, which I thought then too, because I was like, I want to say something to him. He just so happened to turn around and look at me after being embarrassed in front of all these people. And I told him, I said, I hope you have a great day. And he smiled, and that he thank you, you know, and he went in the
Yeah.
building. He felt much better. I just don't understand when people take opportunities to make an innocent person feel good, that they take it to make somebody feel bad. You know,
Yeah.
so I've always wanted to. When people need help, most of the time, they're in a bad space
Mm.
mentally, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? So when they come to you for help, you know, I don't see how you could say no. It's not hurting you. It's not hurting you to. So I guess what it all boils down to, I guess what all that said, it makes me feel better. It makes me feel better to make another person feel better.
I mean, I feel like if, you know, I spend a lot of time thinking on like purpose.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if I had to think like if there was a purpose,
yeah,
your purpose is probably to help.
yeah,
And, you know, and that could be a lot on the person who's helping.
yeah,
I just feel like it just seems like that has been a lot of what I've seen, like from you,
yeah,
like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
help.
I've always said that anybody that has ever fallen out with me, or we had a problem, it was behind some kids, my kids or
Mm.
some kids that I care about. You know,
Yeah.
and I tell people, if you look back to any time that we have fallen out, like anybody who I have really showed my other side to, it had something to do with a child. It didn't have anything to do with me. It didn't have anything to do with a man. It didn't have anything to do with my money. You can get away with my money. I might, you order something and you don't pay for it and I didn't gave it to you. You might get away with that. I might just push that over to the side. But you cannot get away with mistreating a child in my presence. Nobody's child. And I've always had kids around me. You know, other people's kids. I've always taken care of other people's kids living with me. I had to share some space
Yeah.
with children before, my godchildren and other kids that I was babysitting and other kids that I would just keep. Y'all had to share some space and some time with other children because I can't see a child, I just can't see a child hurt or mistreated
Yeah.
or, you know.
That's a breath of fresh air in a world and time where the kids are the target
Yeah,
of a
and they
lot
are.
of like a lot of nonsense. Like
Yeah, yeah,
we gotta protect the kids all the time.
yeah, yeah. And
Hard.
people say, how can a child get kidnapped and not scream and kick, or how can they go with a stranger? Because home is probably horrible sometimes, and that's not for every child that's getting kidnapped. But some, it's very easy to take them away from a space that's not so great, and a lot of kids run away and stuff like that because sometimes they just aren't being treated well, and it's terrible that you would want to hurt your own children and somebody else's. It's just terrible. That's why I like daycare, because you get to provide a safe space all day. If you are in it for that reason, you get to
Mhm.
provide a safe space all day long for some children. And you know me working in daycare now, that's my that's my reward, you know making sure those kids all day have a good day.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
the one thing they're
I can
gonna
tell.
do is they're gonna leave from there having saying they had fun.
Yeah. And I could see that, you know, even when you talk about the kids and everything, like,
Yeah.
you know, how
Yeah. Those my
I feel
babies. Yeah.
that. So with you being in daycare now,
Mm-hmm.
along with all the other stuff I've listed that you've done over the years and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, you got Toodah now in
Right.
kindergarten. How
Right.
do you juggle all of this stuff?
Woo. Yeah. It's a lot. Um, but it keeps me going. So, I've never been a person that's like schedule, 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 schedule. So me working in daycare now, it's the first time in my life that I have ever been on strict tight schedule, to be somewhere from a certain time to a certain time like this. I've never, I've never worked like this, but I like it a lot, and it's taking on all of this is probably how I stay alive. It's probably what keeps me from just sitting around, getting sick, getting old, because I'm busy, and we all know, use it or lose it. So,
Yeah.
it really does. I needed something at the time that I started working this daycare. I needed something. I was tired of what I was doing. It was another one of those change moments, So,
Yeah.
and I needed it, and I see now that Toodah needed it because she was getting a side of me that she didn't really see my hustle. Like y'all saw my hustle.
Yeah.
Y'all saw me in the salon. Y'all saw me grinding it out from morning to night sometimes. And, she got my relaxed side because I was in my 40s. So she started just seeing the side of me that could just sit around and do nothing. And I was like, I got to make a change because now she don't want to get up in the morning. She want to lay around. She wasn't in daycare. So, she wasn't on a schedule, and I didn't want that to, affect her. So it's kept me going. It's kept me going. You the same way though. You move and
Yeah.
you don't sit still at all.
Yeah. It's, I mean, and like you said, it's kind of like what I saw pretty much.
Yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know, if
yeah,
I never saw a problem with if you gotta get up before the sun is out and you're not back
yeah,
home until the sun is down. If
yeah,
it's gotta be that, it's gotta be that.
yeah.
That's
And
kind of what I
you know
see.
what? And the funny thing is, I never considered myself working hard until now. When I was doing
Uh,
hair and I was in there all day, I didn't consider myself working hard because I guess because it was for me. And I
mhm.
controlled it, and I could control the schedule. I could control my days off. I could control everything. When I was working for Granddad, I definitely didn't see that as hard work, because
Yeah.
I mean, you driving around, you to yourself, and I didn't see that, and he wasn't giving me heavy work, so
Yeah.
that was definitely the most laid back time of work, passive, amazing income ever. And people would say,
Yeah.
well, why would you give up that easy money for this? And like I said, it was time for a change, and it wasn't rewarding anymore. You know, I was riding in the car talking to myself all day, So I was like,
Yeah.
I need somebody to talk to. I need some coworkers. I need some after losing my best friend and my sister, it was like, I need to be around some adult people. I'm not around any adult people, on a regular basis. And I really enjoy that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that change is necessary.
Right.
Um, Again, on my last podcast, I was talking about how when I feel the need to do that, like,
Yeah.
I get that feeling of just like it's time to change it
Time to
up
move. Yeah.
because there's no time to sit and be like, I'm not satisfied, and then
No.
it's 5 years and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm still not satisfied, but you're still in the
Right.
same spot. Like,
Right.
got to
Yeah.
make
You
a
just got
move
to move.
sometime.
You
Yeah,
know, one thing that Daddy always said to me is, if you can't find a job, create one. And I always that's that's always been an integral part in how I led my life, and how I worked. I was like, I've never had a problem finding a job because I never really looked for one, but I like the create one part. I was like,
yeah,
I like that, because what I tell people a lot of times, people will pay for anything, and that's not taking advantage of people. That's you creating something off of what you do well. So we buy everything. We spend our money, on everything. We buy beds, we buy groceries, we buy decorations, we buy everything. So why can't we also make those things, create those things, and make it income for ourselves? Like, if you are good at crocheting, why not crochet and sell things? If you're good at making jewelry or fixing computers, make that your job. If you know how to take a washing machine apart and put it back together right, that's a job. So if you wash your car up and it's all shiny and your tires all slick and everybody looking at them like, man, where'd you go? And you did it. I mean, you can parlay that into a business too. So anything, and everybody's good at something. People say, I ain't good at nothing. I don't have no hobbies. Everybody is good at something.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I went to training.
Right.
Lost a bunch of weight, and everybody like, "Oh, how you do it?" I'm like, "I can show you."
I can show you exactly. I can teach you, but I have to charge. My favorite line.
All right. Well, we came up on our time. I think I pretty much got everything I wanted to ask out there. So I appreciate you joining me. Like I said, highly anticipated. Been probably planning this for like a year.
I know, right? But it's that schedule.
Yeah.
Finally got me a vacation.
Right. Exactly. But all right, though. All right, y'all. Peace out. Appreciate you.